Thank you very much for coming to the OIC Secretariat to attend to the press conference organized by the Secretariat itself. Before we go any further, let me extend our apology to all of you for the short notice, which is indeed caused by compelling forces because the CEO here would not be able to control the agenda of heads of states abroad, and he is always engaged by governments abroad. And then it is out of goodwill that he did this because he said he wouldn't want to travel and then extend it again. He would rather call you at a short notice to show you that he is here with you as a partner. So it is a short notice, but it is a short notice out of goodwill. So I hope we will understand each other on that. And henceforth, we are definitely going to work with you very closely, and it is time now for him to speak to the public, and all of us will be behind him as a team to extend the thread of sensitization locally and internationally. So that being the case, this is CEO Lamin Sane. Just for the sake of knowing who is who within this, he is the head of this institution. That's Mr. Yankuba Diba, head of HR and admin. Mr. Banding Silla, head of finance. Mr. Almami Tal, legal advisor. Mr. Ibrahim Akoli, project manager. And then Mr. Nyang Jai, head of communication and branding. Aji Umi Jallo, executive assistant to the CEO. And Omar An, who of course was earlier on here but just went to come back. He is the assistant to Yankuba Diba. And then we have Yaya Sanyang also, who is the assistant to project manager Ibrahim Akoli, who is out for official reasons. That's the place, and these are the people. And I think I am known to some of you. My name is Isa Bokar C. I am the public relations officer. So before we get any further, I want to let you know that the CEO is going to be invited to read a statement. And then after reading the statement, we are going to hand it over to you with coordinates which you can contact for further clarity. Thank you very much for your attention. Now I will invite CEO Lamin J.K. Sane to deliver his statement.
First of all, thank you very much. It's a short notice, but I think the cooperation, we are grateful. The turnout is good. And like I said, this is a Gambia thing. So the positive response, I believe, will take us to high heights. And I wish to convey our sincere apology. And I know that, like Esa has already mentioned it, but at least I have to say it myself so that you know that it's coming from all of us. We are together in this. Gambia is hosting a big event, so you are going to be a key part of that because you are going to be the ones disseminating the information, and we hope and believe that we'll have a very, very good cooperation between the media houses and the OIC Secretariat through our PRO, Esa Bakar C. As I said, I will do my statement, and we will open it up for a Q&A session. I don't know how many minutes we have for that. Then we will interact if there is any need for any interaction. I'll start with the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation. Is the second largest intergovernmental organization after the United Nations, with a membership of 57 member countries spread over 4 continents. That means you have 4 continents where the OIC is represented out of 57 countries. It's a collective voice of the Muslim Ummah. It endeavors to safeguard and protect the interests of the Muslim world in the spirit of promoting international peace, harmony among various people of the world. So, I may repeat that for clarity. It endeavors in the spirit of promoting international peace and harmony among the various people of the world. The organization was established upon a decision of the historical summit which took place in Rabat in the Kingdom of Morocco in 12th of Rajab 1389, which relates to 25th of September 1969 in the Gregorian calendar, following the criminal arson of the Al-Aqsa Mosque in the occupied territories of Jerusalem. In 1970, the first ever meeting of the Islamic Conference of the Foreign Ministers was held in Jeddah, which decided to establish a permanent secretariat in Jeddah headed by the Organization Secretary General, Dr. Yusuf Ahmed Al-Kutaim, is the 11th Secretary General who assumed the office in November 2016. The member states of the OIC face many challenges in the 21st century, and to address these challenges, in the third extraordinary summit of the summit held in Makkah in December 2005, laid down the blueprint called the 10-year Program of Action. It successfully concluded with the close of the 2015, a successful program for the next 10 years from 2016 to 2025, has since then been adopted. So the member countries have adopted a new program which started from 2016 to 2025. The hosting of the summit in the Gambia is no longer a dream, but a reality that has dawned on the Gambia. Hinted to this reality, the government of the Gambia has taken the necessary measures to host a successful and a memorable summit come November 2019 in the Gambia. The OIC Gambia Secretariat, which is newly established and constituted, is mandated by the Office of the President to mobilize resources and embark on key infrastructure projects. The OIC Gambia Secretariat has no profit status. We are an NGO by law and is governed by a board, which is comprised of the President of the Republic as the chairman, the Minister of Justice, the Finance Minister, Interior Minister, Tourism, Culture, Work and Infrastructure, Land and Regional Administration, the Secretary General, and the Cabinet Secretary is the Secretary to the board. The Secretary to Cabinet serves as the Secretary to the board, whilst the Vice President currently chairs the board in the absence of the President. So currently, the board is chaired by the Vice President. The key infrastructure projects, priority projects for the OIC Summit are as follows. So out of the requirements that we need to prepare for the summit, these are the 5 priority projects we are working on currently. Construction of a 100-kilometer road from the airport junction. This project will consist of a dual carriage way from Sting Corner via traffic light to the airport junction and access roads within the OIC concentrated areas. Construction of 60 royal and presidential villas to house the visiting head of states, 400-bedroom 5-star hotel, VIP lounge at the airport to accommodate the already existing conference center, procurement of VIP vehicles for the visiting head of states and delegates, reinforcement of the water and electricity infrastructure within the OIC concentrated or imparted areas, renovation and facelifting of the airport current terminal building. The Secretariat has written to 17 member country states for support, including Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Turkey, Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, Morocco, Algeria, Nigeria, Gabon, Senegal, Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, Kazakhstan, and Oman, out of which 10 countries have been visited and consultations are ongoing. To date, the Secretariat has received firm commitments from some member states. Consequently, the Secretariat has published adverts on newspapers inviting expression of interest for both consultancy services and contractors to bid on the key projects to be embarked on by the state as per the OIC mandate. Equally, the Secretariat will be embarking on a nationwide tour to sensitize the public on the role of the Secretariat and what is expected of the host country during the summit. This process will not be limited to road shows, but will also include radio and television shows over the course of the life of the project. In light of the above mentioned, the government of the Gambia, by way of the Secretariat, is soliciting support and cooperation of the general public in facilitating and supporting the hosting of the 2019 Summit of Head of States. I thank you for your attention and support in disseminating the work of the Secretariat in furtherance of the national developmental aspiration. Thank you very much. Yes, you've talked about 5 different things. I think if you will agree with us, building the road, you don't just get up and build a road. You start from the design. And then you get the design done, you get the costing done, you do the environmental assessment, right? We've passed all that stage now. That's why I said in my statement, You've seen the EOIs in the papers, which means now we are moving towards the technical part, which is to bring in tech consultants to sit with us to evaluate. We already received bids, and we are going to open it again to the general public. We want to be as transparent as possible. So that process is almost at the end. Now, for the VIP lounge at the airport, similarly, is also done almost to the end. The renovation of the airport, you see, is already started. We are participating in that with civil aviation. That's also ongoing. Now, for the hotel also, the land is identified. We've got all the designs. We've got almost part of the technical work done. Now it's just to start the construction. So we've got a very advanced stage in that. Now, I agree 1 year from now with technology, I think we should be able to go too far. Now, the main concern will be, can we build the 5-star hotel within 12 months? Technically, if you look at it, it might be possible, it might not be possible. But with the kind of designs and the technology we are seeing from the aspiring contractors, it's possible. Even if we cannot complete 100%, yes, we will continue the project after the summit. The whole idea is to mobilize as much as possible to build this country. Now, people will say 2019. We are moving ahead. We are not thinking about 2019. Our objective here is to rebuild Gambia, create jobs for the youth, which might go beyond the summit if need be. But as long as we secure the funding, we'll take the projects as long as it takes us. But for the summit itself, it's a number of 10 days, so we should be ready for it. Thank you very much. I'll start with the first part, which is the costing. That's why I'm here. That's my area. I'm an investment banker, and that's what I do for a living. And I think I will not call you here if I'm not sure whether we will be able to do these projects, right? Yes, but you are right. The hotel budgeted is $80 million. We've already completed 75% on that, probably in the next few weeks or months, next month at least, is a sort of a milestone period for that. We should be able to close that. For the roads, it's $100 million because it's 100 kilometers. We are using $1 million as a cost-based budget for now, but it might be lower than that. But again, that's what we are looking at. For the airport and the VIP lounge, it's about $15.5 million. And for the water and electricity, it's about $32 million. And for the vehicles, we are budgeting nothing less than about $13 million. But for the vehicles, we are not too much worried about the vehicles because that's a last-minute thing. I think what we are focusing on more is the infrastructure. We can get these vehicles from the member countries as they are going to do. They are the ones funding this. And let me make this very clear. This project is not funded by Gambia government. And these projects are funded on a grant base. It's no debt to the Gambia government. This secretariat is run by the Saudis. The Saudis are funding the salary of everybody here, not Gambia government. Let me make that very clear so that the press understands that the member countries are participating to support Gambia to host this summit. Gambia, today where we are, I don't think we can afford to organize a summit like that, okay? Second part, no, let me finish this second part. Yes, we are divided for obvious reasons. What the Banjul Summit will do, I was asked this question in Turkey by the Turkish TV. I think we are a small country. We have precedences where we can learn from. Gambia was key in the Iraq-Iran war when we were kids. So I think we have a learning point there. Sarada was the first president, was instrumental in making sure that bringing peace between those two countries. Now, if a summit is coming to Banjul, we are not a country that is hostile to, I think we should be able to bring the big brothers together in a closed-door discussion and look at what are the issues from each sector and try to address those issues. So we started something, but it's not for disclosure here. But we are doing something. For the summit in Banjul, there would be a session on that part. But I cannot disclose because it's not finalized. But we are working on something on that. So it's a very vital, valid question, and I think we need to look at that as a host country. The conference center is almost ready. It's a $50 million grant from China. It should be completed before next year, August. So yes, things are shaping up. If you pass by the conference center, you will see how far they've gone. Now they've started the finishing. So we're hoping that by July, we should be able to start looking at the date for commissioning the conference center. Okay? Well, I just mentioned the amounts that are involved. So if you ask me the overall budget, when you run a summit, you cannot say the overall budget will be this. What you could say, okay. The OIC project is big, and we have phases. Today we are looking at priority projects from now till the summit, and then thereafter. So if I may take you there. Now, from now till the summit is $260 million, which is coming from mostly from the GCC countries now, as per what we have right now. I said the GCC. Saudi Arabia, okay. Saudi Arabia are coming together, Kuwait, UAE, Oman, and Bahrain. So the 260 I mentioned is coming as a block from those countries. We don't have the specifics. If we have the data, I'll tell you. This is put together by the Saudi government. So they're telling us that we are coming as a block. So they're not telling me I'm putting 15, no, they are not giving me that information. What they did was to tell me these are the institutions that will fund, which is the Saudi fund, which are here next week. So if you come here next week, maybe they will be able to tell you how much they are putting. Then you have the UAE fund, then you have the Kuwaiti fund, then you have the, so that's how they operate. So they're coming as a block. So our consultation right now, we are very advanced in that. We've got the number, which is agreed on. Now we are doing the final paperwork. They are flying in here next Wednesday. They will be here for 4 days, I think. So if you come to the office on next Wednesday, they will be here. We can get the details. But right now, I cannot tell you how much is coming from Saudi. All I've been told on paper is the GCC countries are coming with $260 million. That will cover the 5 major projects we have, priority projects for the summit. Very good question, and something that is very close to our heart here. Like I mentioned earlier, we are dealing with post-summit today. We're not dealing with pre-summit, we're dealing with post-summit. Your first part of the question, how do we build the collaboration between us and the press? We have an awareness budget that is going to be rolled out from next week, I think. That's why we started today with everybody. And in that awareness program, we're going to reach out to all of you in your various programs to participate, to sensitize the Gambians, to talk about what we're doing on a weekly basis or bi-weekly. I don't know what the details are, but then the brand team, Nyang and Esa are working on it. But it's approved by the board, and it's a 2-year program. So that tells you we're not only looking at from now till November, but beyond November. And we are going to go down all the way to the, I think, the community radios as well. Right. So we're going to involve in all multiple languages. So countrywide tour to sensitize people, which we will carry you along. And wherever you want to participate, we will make it open. But the monthly, the briefings will be frequent. Every time we have a milestone, do a press briefing. Either we do a press release or we call you here. Second part of your question, which is why, you mentioned Senegal did it. Senegal did it for a summit. We are not doing it for the summit. We are on a different conditions. We are not a different level. Gambia today, we need rebranding. We've been known for tourism for too long, and I think we've got to a certain level. We need to look at the product base that we offer as a country in terms of tourism. Today, what we are working on is to rebrand Gambia as an international conference hub in the sub-region. Everybody wants to come to Gambia. Do we have the facilities? No. Now, with the conference facility which we have, which is one of the best in this part of the world, if we get to clock our VIP lounge at the airport, and the lounge is not only a lounge for tea and coffee, but it's going to have sections for immigration and for accreditation. When you go for conferences, you have to be, you get your badge and then you go to your conference park at the airport. That means when you get to the conference center, there's no rush. You have your bag, you have your conference park, so you just go and the ushers will usher you where you're supposed to sit in your zones. Now, if we get the hotel, we have accommodation. If we get the cars, we have cars to move people from the airport and around Greater Banjul, right? So if we put those 4 together, we have a product called international conferences. Now we can start targeting all these international conferences. Now, the question is, how are you going to run that? The next phase of this will be to set up an independent, owned by the government, but on a commercial base. And that's a plan that already I'm working on with the team. We've already discussed it at the board level. It's been approved. So that these assets we are creating will not be sitting on as elephants. Big elephants and nobody looks at. We are going to manage it on a commercial base. Tomorrow, if you want to get married, we can rent you cars. At least you pay. So we'll generate revenues. Those revenues will be used to help government to do more projects. So maybe we'll participate in PPPs for NAVEC. Maybe we participate with joint ventures for GGC to support them rather than going to the banks every time to borrow. And then it's just, so we need to change the profile of Gambia into an international conference hall. And the only way we can do that, we need to have a product base. We need to have the services. We need to have the capacity to when these people come, to serve them. And those are the things that we are working on. So you asked earlier on, what are we doing? Today, you saw the security were here, Turkish. They came. Why did they come? They came on a need assessment base. Even if you build 25 5-star hotels, you do fast train, tram, if you don't have the security and the logistics right, these head of states will not visit. And that's why we started. That's why we've been very quiet, because we can't come talking about these things when you don't have anything to say to the press. Today, we can confidently tell you Gambia is prepared to host 2019. Okay, I'll start with your first. I think we've apologized enough on the short notice, so I won't go back to that. On access or what support for the Gambian journalists during the summit. I think we'll have a press park, and you all will have the right to apply. And inshallah, we'll do our best from here to make sure you are accredited, you get your accreditation. Now, it depends on the zones that you will have to, you are not going to be allowed everywhere. Okay, so we'll see because remember, we are hosting is organized by the Jeddah office. So there are two things here that I want to make very clear. We are not controlling the summit itself. So let me make that very clear so that you understand that Gambia is the host country. They will come, they will stay here. But the conference, logistics and stuff like that is run by the General Secretariat. They are bringing their own people to do certain things. What we will do to make sure you guys get access is to make sure that we put you through your association. Give us the list of all the members of the press that are part of the association. We get you accredited for the event, okay? Now, on the last part, the OIC is an international corporation. It falls under the government. And to be able to run this project, you need stakeholders' contribution. And if you look at what the projects we are doing, is stakeholder-driven and it's policy level. That's why the governing body is mainly the policymakers. They take the decisions. If you put a private sector, we have to go back to the same people to get the final approval to get things done. And we don't have time. Imagine if I had to put the private people in the board. Now, whatever they decide, I have to go to the policymaker to explain to them the government bureaucracy to get to certain things. Maybe still now I will not be standing here talking to you. Okay? So for that reasons, we advise that the board should comprise of the key stakeholders in this at the policy level, so that the board is not by proxy. The ministers attend. They come here for board meetings. And they're putting time and effort into this to make it happen. So that's the only reason, because of that technicality, that's why we have. But then we have a LOC, which will be driven by the private sector and the public. So maybe for your understanding to know that the policy is the governance level to get things faster, but the organization and the management, we have an LOC under the Secretariat, which comprises of private sector Gambians, which we are going to incorporate maybe in a few weeks, Almami? Yeah, we are just looking in committee, yeah, local organization, which will be the local Gambians, the hotel association, the transport union, in the various sectors. We have about 7 or 8 subcommittees in that: logistics, security, protocol, transportation, event, and stuff like that. So those were the people who will work with the Secretariat to manage the event. As much as we would like to Gambianize this project, we want quality. And quality comes with capacity. Where Gambian capacity is, for sure, Gambians will be the ones we will look at. Today, when we started this office, you can ask the rest of the staff, everything we've done here is all Gambianized so far. 100%. 100%. And I don't want to go into details, but Gambia is a small place. I've got reports that for being given everything to Gambians at the highest level. So we are our own problem, to be honest. If a Gambian can go and report somebody for giving contracts to local Gambians, that tells you how we are, right, as people. And I will assure you one thing, as far as I'm here, and this team is here, we'll do our best where Gambian capacity is. Now, we've moved one level to say, as much as we want these contracts for Gambians to benefit, we need to protect that. And the only way you can protect that, to have a component of local content where there's Gambian capacity. Again, I'm going to capacity. You ask me a question, you want to do this short period of time. I don't want somebody to come and lambatu, right? I don't want that, right? We want somebody who can do it. A Gambian who has the capacity, you'll give him the opportunity. So in our criteria for selection of either a consultant or for the contractors, yes, we have a local component portion, which will be Gambians with capacity. If they fit it, they will get it. If they don't fit it, I'm sorry, I can't do anything about that, I'm honest. Well, I'm saying there's a criteria. If they fit the criteria, yes, they will get it. They've been considered so far. All you see here is done by Gambians. Well, I said 17 countries. I have traveled to Indonesia. Last night, up to 2 a.m., because there are time difference. I was on the call line with the ambassador up to 2 a.m. Gambian time. And this is a very difficult job. It's not easy. Begging is difficult. Most people cannot beg. But that's the assignment I have. So, and I'm doing my level best in terms of trying to make sure we mobilize as much as we can. Yes, we have written out. Last night we had 2 discussions. We are outside that club. We have about 8 other countries that have pledged to support us. I don't want to talk about pledges. I want to talk, that's why I'm talking about confirmed. Okay, but then yes, we have reached out to 17 member countries. Outside the Saudi is about 14. We are very hopeful. It's very positive. Even Morocco is very positive. So as time goes on, we will know what people will contribute. Make this opportunity and ask questions. I don't like Degana. I don't like that. You're here. Don't go and write something that you think. We are here. The team is here. Ask your questions. You talked about how we want to work with you. Honestly, ask the questions. You have the opportunity. I'm here. Please ask what you have in mind. We clarify it so that you know where we're going. You help us. Okay, the first part, this amount is by project. It's not like one envelope go like that. I gave you the breakdown of the road. So everybody is saying, I'm funding this, I'm funding that. Now, if they don't do the road, wherever we have, we'll stop there. Am I clear on that? Okay? Okay, if we have whatever we have for each of these roads, that's what we will do. Plan B, yes. We have hotels here that we can work with. We have some of the AU villas that we own as a government. We can find a way, whoever is there, we find a way to. So we have plan Bs that we are looking at. So on that part, yes, we are covered. We have plan B. That's why we are pretty much saying that we are prepared to host. The second question on the security part, I said, you know, when there's an international summit, there's an advanced team that comes to review the security, check, and then they write their reports. And the reports are shared by countries that are friendly to each other. The CNN will ask the Reuters will ask, so they will share intelligence whether Gambia is ready. So before they come, they will know whether the country is safe or is not safe. So as we grow along this, they also will play their part. They've been reaching out, trying to find out whether there's a change of date and all that. So we are working with them. So as we get closer to this, you will see most of them coming in prior, trying to come and see where they will stay, where they will go, check where they put their antennas and stuff like that. That will show you that at least they are prepared to come. Now on the security part for the Saudi, that is out of scope as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to go into that, the Saudi incident in Turkey. That is out of scope for me. No, because of the Gambia is an Islamic state. You know, I said OIC has 37 member countries, and every country has a right to host. This is not the first time Gambia bid to host. Probably this is the third time from the information I got. Maybe this was the third time lucky. Senegal hosted. Gambia and Senegal are the only countries that have been given the right to host. Senegal hosted twice, and they are not an Islamic country. Are they? They have Murids and all these religious houses there, but did they declare themselves as no, they are not an Islamic country, so that's not a base for giving you to host. Is you are a member, you are entitled to. So if you say, I'm prepared to host, I want to host, they will support you to host. They supported Senegal to host twice, right? Yes, now they are supporting us to host, because they want to, member countries also. The OIC is a big family. The OIC has a bank called Islamic Development Bank, and the purpose of that bank is to support the Ummah, member countries. Islamic Bank's portfolio is on these 56 countries. Now they've expanded to non-member countries with a small envelope, but they're supporting areas that is food security, education, and capacity building and health. So the bank is owned by the OIC member countries, and the purpose of the bank is to support. GGC is benefiting from that. NAWEC, even GNPC here, they have facilities with that bank that is supporting them to do their trading. So the OIC looks after not only religious issues, but the harmony. I said harmony. Harmony is open, it's wide open. The social well-being of the Ummah is the purpose of the OIC. How do we help our member countries to come out of poverty, to support them? So if you look at the programs of the OIC, go to the website, you'll see the 22 things they have is related to well-being of human beings, mainly the Ummah, especially women. So hosting is not related to because Yajambe declared that is Islamic State. I don't think that was the basis of. I don't think even in the bid that was said that because we said we are no. I don't think that's it was very much relevant. It's relevant that it was time Gambia also hosted. Remember, IDB hosted their AGM here once. That was the time they opened AGIP. So we have Gambia has a wrong because the First Republic. The administration was very much deep into the OIC. Gambia was one of the countries that they were using to negotiate peace in some of these dispute countries that we have within membership. The former president was very much involved in that. So virtually he was flying in and out of countries to make peace. I'll give you an example, the Iraq war, even Jerusalem, the Palestinian state. He contributed a lot. And Gambia had a lot of respect in that part because of the peace role we used to play. Now, it's about time we build that again. All the support we are getting is based on our past. So the hosting is not, I didn't see it in any communication. So I can confirm that I don't think it was a base because I didn't see it in any communication.
Thank you very much, sir.
I think you read the newspapers daily, right? In the past, right? Most of these positions, almost all were advertised. And every Gambian applied. And we shortlisted, we were interviewed through a proper structure. So anybody who is here is here based on the profile. We had to identify. You wanted this summit to happen within a short period of time. So I have to get the right people who I think can do the job to make me get there. So people are choosing here based on their track record and the profile of the role that they are occupying. So there's no bias here. Most of the people, I don't know them. We met here. Okay? So myself, if you want to know how I got here, go ask the president. Okay? Thank you very much for coming. Huh?